Hey everybody, Grooves Blues Reviews here. I just wanted to talk a little bit real quickly about the game last night between the Vegas Golden Knights and the San Jose Sharks. What a game seven that was, where the Sharks ended up prevailing, coming back from a 3 games to 1 deficit, and winning in overtime, coming back from a 3-0 deficit just in game seven to win it there in San Jose by the final score of 5-4 in overtime. The Vegas Golden Knights for 2.5 periods, a little over 2.5 periods, controlled that game. Were up 3-0, and then took a very questionable 5-minute major penalty. And then in that 5 minutes, San Jose scored 4 goals to take the lead. And then Vegas came back and with their best player, Marchessault, scored with just under 50 seconds left to tie it, to then take it to overtime. And towards the end of the first overtime, San Jose scored on a goal that really I was surprised that the guy who scored it got in around the defense. I mean, there were 3 or 4 guys back for Vegas. They looked okay, but he just went wide and was able to beat the D and get in there and beat Fleury across the crease and stuffed it in. A great game, but that 5-minute penalty, it created something that'll be last in history and makes the NHL great with as far as how this sport hockey is, how things can change so quickly, how the penalty, it ended up being Pavelski for San Jose, the captain of the team, their leader, very well respected, getting hurt on the play, having to go off the ice and really motivating those players. I mean, they scored with 4 minutes and 54 seconds left on that 5-minute power play right off the faceoff. And after that, 3-1, you just kind of felt that Sharks team was pumped up. The crowd was loud there, as they always are at San Jose, and they took it to them. But getting back to the penalty, when the puck was dropped, Pavelski won it cleanly, fair and square. It was a great win, and he wasn't cross-checked in the face. He was bumped. He was cross-checked some in the chest. He started to lose his balance, and then he ran into Stastny, or Stastny ran into him, however you want to look at it. And then he fell, and when he fell, unfortunately, he broke his fall with his shoulder and his head. And I'm not sure where the blood was coming from, but he was wearing a mouth guard covering this part of his face attached to his helmet, because earlier in the series he had took a puck off of his face, and I'm sure there was stitches there. Things can come loose, things can be bleeding, because he's still playing. He's not just staying off the ice and resting. So if he fell on that side where that happened with the puck, I'm sure that could have caused the bleeding just as well, because it was already a problem there on his face with a laceration from the puck. And then also too, if it wasn't on that side, that mouth guard area, that plastic, I mean, that visors that players wear have been known to cut them in certain collisions rather than a stick coming up and getting them. And that fall, I mean, definitely that could have happened. But nevertheless, I understand full speed. At first, when I saw that at full speed when it happened, and I saw Pavelski down and hurt like that, I thought, oh boy, Vegas, you really messed yourselves up here getting this. It's going to be a 5-minute major. But when you looked at the replay, it was a complete miscall. I think it was questionable for it even being a 2-minute penalty. If it was a 2-minute penalty, I could see an interference call there. But it should not have been a 5-minute major. So it was a definite miscall by the refs. But, everything goes so fast. It's really tough to see. But the things you can't forget about, as far as you're a Vegas fan or just a hockey fan in general, Vegas had 2 opportunities up to 3 games to 1, and once in San Jose and once back at home, to take out the San Jose Sharks, to eliminate them, and they did not do it. And in fact, Marc-Andre Fleury, I mean, he let up a bad goal in Game 6 in overtime. I believe it was double overtime, and it was a short-handed goal, nevertheless, that caused a Game 7. And in that Game 7, of course, Vegas had control. In that 5-minute power play, it was as if they didn't know how to penalty kill. They just completely let the San Jose Sharks steamroll them. And Marc-Andre Fleury, I would say out of those 4 goals, at least 1 or 2 of them he'd like to have back. It was really just crazy to see after all the great saves that he's made in the series, and especially in that game prior to that penalty against the Knights. Wow, it was really something to see. But also the Golden Knights, they come back and they score with under 50 seconds left to tie it at 4. So they send it to overtime. San Jose, their backs are against the wall. It's in overtime there. You think maybe Vegas has a good chance here, and they couldn't put it away. And in fact, San Jose, I think, had more chances in that overtime. to win it. So it's really tough to see that call happen, and it really screwed I think Vegas over there. But they had their chances beforehand to eliminate the Sharks and to end it before anything like that even happened. And in that 5 minute power play, I also think it's partially Vegas coach Gerard Gallant. He didn't call a timeout at any point in time during that power play. I would have called it if I was the coach there right as after they scored their first goal, because it was so quick. Everyone was into it. The bench was into it. They rallied around each other. Should have called a timeout there, just kind of interrupt the flow, let the Vegas get their bearings, or even after that second goal. I mean, just should have called a timeout, talk to his players, get them to calm down, to rest for 30 seconds, and just collect their thoughts and understand, we can still win this. And then also with regards to Marc-Andre Fleury, I mean, that's why he gets paid the big bucks. That's why Vegas got him for moments like that. And he was definitely playing up to his potential and what he was expected to do in a Game 7 until that point where it truly mattered the most on a 5 minute penalty called against them. And he let up 4 goals in that period of time. And yeah, the defense wasn't playing great in front of him, but some saves that he normally makes, he didn't. And those things all came together and ended up being what eliminated Vegas in that game. So kudos to San Jose to take advantage of that opportunity. I feel bad for Vegas on the sense that was not the best call, but at the same time, Vegas had its opportunities. But overall, a great game. It's great for the NHL with a moment like that, a comeback. It's something that people, I'm sure, were talking about this morning at the water coolers or wherever they gathered. I mean, just an unbelievable period of hockey there in the third period. And so San Jose moves on to play the Avalanche. But something just, to keep in mind, I'm sure the NHL is going to look at this and, when making those 5-minute major calls, and especially key moments in the game, if they're going to look at replays and is that going to stop the game, the flow of the game, all those things have to be taken into consideration. So anyway, just kind of my thoughts. It was a heck of a game. If you didn't have a chance to see it, go back and watch the replay of it, the shortened replay, of course, and you can see it on YouTube, and it's just fascinating to see. But boy, really a tough call and a tough situation there. So I don't know, just something I wanted to talk about. And take care, everybody, and go Blues.